Hi, it's Kerry Sheely from Rockford, Illinois. Lesson six is synth modules. I'm going to explain the usage of the five most important synthesis modules. Sounds like I have a lisp. Oscillator, filter, amplifier, envelope, and LFO. My digital audio workstation is Reaper, and my synth that I'm using is called Scythe. I found this synth online. It's a free download. It's available for Mac or PC. The only real drawback is there isn't a manual instructions to tell you where to find the different parts of the software, explaining the different parts of the software. But so far, I like um, the synth, and I would recommend it to you. I've included a link here at the bottom of the screen so you can find it yourself. Five main modules in every synth are the oscillator, filter, amplifier, LFO, and the envelope. First up is the oscillator. As Loudon stated, sometimes you can have more than one module in a synth. This happens to have two oscillators, it appears. Oscillator creates a sound in the synth, and it generates that sound based on a geometric shape or waveform, i.e. like a synth or square or sawtooth wave. And it modulates pitch over time. The controls in this particular module are a tune, which is a coarse setting from -24 to +24, a fine setting at -5 to +5. The waveform can be chosen here. It also has a DIG 1 through 5, which is a digital waveform, maybe a combination. I'm not exactly sure. PW is position from 0 to 1, mix 0 to 1, and RM is mixer ring module or modulator from 0 to 100. I'm not exactly sure of these settings here because there isn't a module, but I'm going to go on anyway. Next is the filter, VCF, voltage control filter. It removes unwanted frequencies over time, and it helps shape the spectrum. The controls, the mode is the particular filter that you're using, high pass, low pass. Also has a BR, which I think maybe is notch filter. I'm not exactly sure. Because the sounds from the oscillator are so bright, the low pass filter is probably the most important and most utilized of the filters. The controls for this module are cut, which is the cutoff frequency from 0 to 1, resonance from 0 to 1, and drive, which is feedback 0 to 1. Next up is the amplifier, VCA, voltage control amplifier. It controls volume over time. It's designed to always be moving, to be changing. There's a set modulator attached to the amplifier, which is an envelope, and that gives you a set path that the signal follows when the key is just pressed. The controls are A for attack time, D for decay time, C for the sustain level, R is release time, and VOL is volume or gain. As you increase the numbers here, increase the time for the particular parameter to work. So attack time, you would actually increase the time it comes for to get up to full value. Decay time would increase the time to get down to sustain level. When you increase the setting and sustain level, it's the level you want to be at while the note is being held. And lastly, the release time is the time after you let go of the note that it gets back down to 0. And then volume and gain is just a gain stage to increase the volume. LFO, low frequency oscillator. This particular device is cyclic in nature. You need to know three things when considering an LFO: the source, destination, and the amount of modulation. These appear to be hardwired in this particular synth, so I cannot control those parameters. And it also looks like it's got controls for two different LFOs. LFO, low frequency, means below the human hearings. And the settings for theirs is rate from 0.1 to 50 hertz, waveform, sine wave square, cut, which is modular cutoff frequency, module balance from 0 to 100, module pitch, which is your vibrato setting from 0 to 100, and PW, which is modular position from 0 to 100. Again, I'm not exactly sure in all these settings, but hopefully I'll gain a better understanding after I get a hold of a manual. Next is the envelope. We explained this in the amplifier setting. This appears to have a separate envelope, a module. Has much of the same controls that we did in the amplifier section. Includes attack, decay, sustain, and release from 0 to 100. This also includes some typical EQ filters that we learned about earlier in the class: phaser, chorus, and delay. But because time is short and we've gone through these in this class, I won't explain those now. In review, Synth is my synth. Includes all the five main modules: amplifier, oscillator, filter, LFO, and envelope. Also includes a pitch bend button. Once you press this and move one of the other buttons in the modules, you can change the sound in real time. Also, if you mouse over any of the buttons, it will tell you what that button is used for in that black window in the middle. I happen to do the A under amp, and it was the amp envelope attack. Thank you again for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.